All right, we're out here today. My 2020 Yamaha 70 four-stroke. I replaced the internal anodes or zincs last week. Didn't see a video on it, so I wanted to share for all you DIYers out there that like doing it yourself. It's a great way to save some money and also to get to know the ins and outs of your motor. The anodes are only a couple bucks a piece. I think they're $2 or $3 a piece, and there's electrolysis in our water, salt water, so every engine has these sacrificial anodes in it that protects the metal of the motor. And if you let those anodes wear away, that electrolysis has no option but to eat at your motor. So you have the external anodes and the internal anodes, and the Yamaha 70 has 3 internal anodes. I believe the 40, 50, 60, and 70 all have the same. I'm not 100% sure, but if you look, they're located here in between the spark plugs. They're going to be located there, there, and there. Super easy to get to. Just need a 12mm socket, and then to remove them, a phillip screwdriver, as long as they're not too corroded. And then this motor is actually equipped with another anode, which is a pencil anode, which is located under this, that protects, I believe, the power head. But this is your water jacket, so water's going to be going through there. I still had quite a bit of salt corrosion in there, even though I flush my motor every time. We only use it in salt water, but I flush it with fresh water for about 15 minutes and then do salt away every time, and there's still quite a bit of salt. So even being religious with that, you still get the buildup of salt and corrosion. So I just hit 500 hours on this, which is what I read would be a good time to change them, and I'll show you a picture of what mine looked like. There's the new one compared to the old one. So I'll probably be a little bit more religious about changing these, especially because they're so cheap. The previous motor I had on here was a 60, and water stopped flowing through it. Took it all apart, never was able to get water flowing back through it, so it would just overheat. And I don't know if it was related to that. I got the motor used. It came on the boat when I bought it used. But yeah, so I'm just trying to be more on it, taking care of the motor so it takes care of me. So to get these things off, again, all you need is a 12mm socket. They come off super easily as long as you haven't let it go too long. I just snugged them up, but these are going to look brand new because I haven't even used it yet. But that's the new anode. All it takes is a phillip screwdriver on there to turn that off. It's threaded into this. There is a gasket there. I'll usually put a little bit of Yamaha grease on there just so it doesn't seize up. But if you look in there, I mean, you can see a little bit of salt in there, because the water does flow through there, which is why those internal sacrificial anodes are placed there. So yeah, a phillip screwdriver takes that right off. I imagine if you let it get too brittle, that could probably seize up in there. But once you're done replacing them, just lubricate that gasket. That could probably be replaced at some point. It still looks super good, so I'm not replacing it. Again, it's not underwater, but I'll hand tighten those and then just snug them up. So yeah, there's 3 of those. Again, they're $2 or $3. If you have a Yamaha dealer by you, that works best. Then you don't have to pay for shipping. I get a lot of my parts from partsvu.com. I don't get anything back from them. This isn't a promotion for them. That's just what I usually do. They have a nice website for finding out parts related to what motor you have. The one downside is I think you have to spend like $140 to get free shipping. So if you were just to buy these $2 or $3 anodes, you're going to pay $11 in shipping, which is pretty ridiculous. If you go on eBay, sometimes you can find them. I wasn't able to replace this pencil anode yet, which actually looked pretty good. It's starting to calcify a little bit, but it's not breaking down. But my local Yamaha dealer doesn't even carry them. They said they've sold 3 in like the last 8 years. So you know this is getting overlooked and neglected with regards to care. So I'm gonna have to order it because of course I ordered all my other parts, and now I'd have to pay $11 shipping. The pencil anode's a little more expensive, it's $8. That one requires 9. That's a 10mm socket, and I'll just go ahead and show you since we're here. So that bolt comes out, keeps it in place. There's another bolt right there that's holding the anode. So there's a gasket on that kind of holds it in tight, so you just wiggle it back and forth and it comes out. So there's your pencil anode, which you can see it's getting brittle. You imagine as this breaks down it could snap off and then it's stuck in your power head, which would really suck. But the bolt that keeps it in place has that keeper over it, and then that rotates to the side, and now you just can unscrew that, take that off and replace it. So I'm gonna have to do that. I actually ordered the part on eBay because I found one with free shipping, which is always nice. That one looks a little smaller, so it's even smaller than 9. So it's probably an 8mm socket to get that one off, and a 10 to get it out of the housing. So that's it, just a couple simple tips. If there's anything I missed or any suggestions, please let me know. Obviously, any help with on the parts, I would love to hear where you guys get your parts. I'll include part numbers for this pencil anode, as well as the ones in the water jacket that I replaced. I'll go ahead and include those in the description. But yeah, any comments and helpful hints, more than happy to hear them. This was once again a 500-hour service that I did this. I actually took it into the shop to get a VST filter replaced, which is recommended. I guess most people kind of skip over that, but it has to do with the fuel system, and with the ethanol in our fuel, I just don't want to leave that to chance. Otherwise, I do all the maintenance myself, but upon taking it in, they asked me, hey, were you having a tough time starting it? And recently I had a tough time starting it. I thought it was maybe because of the cold mornings. My batteries are 2 years old. I usually replace them every 3 just to make sure, but they were fully charged. But it was having a tough time turning over. It eventually would get going. So I guess the area that holds the fuel filter, this is kind of an unofficial Yamaha recall. But this assembly right here, this is new. Yamaha replaced it for free. It's kind of an unofficial recall, I guess. But this housing becomes warped because of the ethanols in our fuel, and was causing it to leak a little bit around here, which allows air to get into the system, which was creating a difficult time starting. It's a super easy replacement because it disconnects right here. When you replace your fuel filter, so this doesn't get all twisted up, you should just disconnect this and then unscrew this to do that anyway, as opposed to leaving it and then potentially twisting your wires all up. But yeah, they replaced that free of charge, which was super cool. But just, yeah, another downside to having ethanol in our fuels. And I was smelling fuel a little bit my last time out, and I was trying to troubleshoot it and couldn't find it, because you never want to smell fuel while you're out on the water. But yeah, so that was probably the source. That's it. Again, any comments, questions, look forward to hearing them. Have a good one.